Hey, this is Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses, and you're watching GNR Central. Yeah!
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to GNR Central. And with Chinese democracy being in the news lately, with it being the 10-year anniversary, I thought, why not take a look at a story that maybe you guys don't know a whole lot about. So the story I'm talking about really dates back to 1995 or 1996. It was still at the time when Guns N' Roses had Slash, Duff, Matt Sorum in the band working with Axl. And according to this website called GNRevolution.com, which you guys should definitely check out, if you ever want to know the full unfiltered history of Chinese democracy, this is your best source you should go to. They have everything broken down by year, and you could literally spend days reading through everything. They've done an exhaustive search of all the interviews that were done by band members around that time, what was going on around that time, and it's pretty remarkable. And they tell a story in 1997, and I think this is probably referencing 95 or 96. So at one point during those early Chinese democracy sessions, Axl appeared to have acquired a certifiable shadow band, as they call it, to work on demos. So Matt Sorum and Dizzy Reed had contributed to the recording of the Real McCoy's sophomore album, and a favor was returned in the host of bassist Chris Barato and drummer Sid Riggs. So Chris Barato and Sid Riggs played very briefly with Guns N' Roses and worked on a bunch of demos. So interviews with Dizzy Reed as well as Chris seemed to paint a bit of a picture of what was going on with the band around that time. So in 2004, Dizzy Reed gave an interview where he said, "I was down at a rehearsal studio recording ideas with a couple of other guys, a guy named Paul Hughey who was in the band for a little while, and basically that's what I did 5 days a week, 5 or 6 days a week. I was just down there recording ideas. A lot of great songs came out of that. It's all still there. Something will happen with that stuff eventually. That was a very cool creative period, and it was great working with Paul." So Chris Barato gave an interview in 2005 to Splat, or SP1 Ad, I think it's called. He was asked, "You played in a rather bizarre version of Guns N' Roses in the mid-90s. Sid Riggs was on drums, I believe. Who else was involved? Paul Tobias?" To which Chris replied, "Well, now keep in mind, Sid and I were recording on demos. Paul was involved, and if you talk to him, tell him to call me too. He's a great guy. As for the recordings, across the mixer were such people as Slash, Zakk Wylde," which sort of indicates this was done around, I think it was January of 1995 when Zakk Wylde auditioned with Guns N' Roses. So he said, such people as Slash, Zakk Wylde, and he just says Zakk in the interview, didn't say the last name, Matt, Duff, Dizzy, and a host of others. "We were all part of putting tracks down on demos. So it was never a version of the band. It was fun though. The only time I really talked to Axl was up at that particular Halloween party at his house. He was never there when I was doing any playing. He told me he liked the bass parts and asked if I was getting paid on time. Gotta love that." So there was also an interview done with Chris Verena, who used to be Nine Inch Nails drummer, and he played with the band for about 6 months or so back in 1997, I believe. He said, "Paul and Axl go back to Indiana. He's kind of like the guy that always is there every night. They record all the jams and study them. I remember Paul spent like a month going through thousands of hours just compiling. He was the guy who was making sure everything got done." So that's the little story I want to tell you guys. I don't know if you guys were aware that Chris Barato and Sid Riggs were playing together in Guns, or at least in a version of Guns N' Roses. It wasn't really clear how long they were supposed to be there for or why their time with the band ended. But that was just a cool little story from Chinese democracy I thought maybe you guys would want to know. But go check out GNRevolution.com. It's a great website. If you guys love reading stuff about Chinese democracy, it should be your first go-to place. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you like that. Have a good one. Go check out GNRCentral.com for the latest and greatest Guns N' Roses news. And go subscribe to keep stay up to date on your favorite band. Take care.